My mom kicked me out and my kids out of Thanksgiving dinner right after I spent $24,000 this year to keep them afloat. She told me that my sister is her real child and slammed the door in our face. So I canceled the mortgage and all loans. Hey everyone! Before we jump into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep bringing you awesome content. Your support means the world. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thanks so much. Now let's start the video. So I, 34 male, should probably give you guys some background first. I'm working as a heavy equipment operator at this massive construction site on the edge of town. Been doing it for 12 years now, since I was 22. Never got the chance to go to college. Couldn't afford it after my dad took off when I was 16. Just disappeared one day with his secretary and left us with a mountain of debt. Mom remarried this complete douchebag named Walter 2 years later, and they've both been treating me like their personal ATM ever since. I had my kids with my ex, Kelly. We were high school sweethearts, got married young, had the kids, then she decided she was unfulfilled and took off with some CrossFit instructor to Arizona when Emma was 6 and Tyler was 4. That was 4 years ago. Now they're 10 and 8, and I've been raising them by myself in this rundown duplex on the east side of town. It's not much, but it's all I can afford after sending most of my paycheck to my mom and Walter. The duplex sucks, if I'm being honest. The landlord won't fix anything, so I'm constantly patching stuff myself. The heating goes out every other week. The plumbing backs up if you flush toilet paper that's more than one ply. And last month we had a family of possums living in the crawl space that I had to remove myself because the landlord said, "They're just nature's cleanup crew." Last winter, we had a pipe burst in the middle of the night. Water everywhere. Kids crying. Everything soaked. I called my mom to see if we could crash at her place for the night since it was 2 a.m. and 10 degrees outside. You know what she said? "Oh, Jake, we just had the carpets cleaned. Can't you go to a motel?" We ended up sleeping in my truck in the Walmart parking lot until morning when my buddy Rick let us use his couch. So there I was, sitting at my beat-up kitchen table after a 14-hour shift operating an excavator in freezing rain. My hands were cracked and bleeding from changing the serpentine belt on my F-150 in the driveway. The space heater in our duplex was making this pathetic rattling sound, barely keeping the place above 60 degrees. My kids Emma and Tyler were on the floor making paper turkeys and pilgrims for our Thanksgiving decorations. Emma was using the last of the glue stick we had, making it stretch as far as possible because I wouldn't be able to buy school supplies again until payday. Emma looked up at me, her dirty blonde hair falling in her eyes. She needs a haircut, but the cheapest place in town is still $15, and that's $15 I don't have right now. "Dad, can we make a real paper chain this year? My teacher says they're tradition all." She carefully pronounced each syllable like she'd been practicing. "Sure, kiddo. I'll see if I can grab some construction paper from the dollar store tomorrow." Tyler was coloring with a broken crayon, his tongue sticking out in concentration. "Dad, is Grandma gonna have those little hot dogs wrapped in bacon again this year? Those were awesome." My stomach twisted. The kids always looked forward to Thanksgiving at Mom's place. Not because of her, she barely acknowledged them, but because it was the one time a year they got to eat fancy food and play in a big house with actual heating. I'd been dreading telling them we might not be going this year. Money was even tighter than usual, and I'd had to ask Mom to float me till payday instead of sending her the usual check. She hadn't taken it well. My phone started buzzing, rattling against the stack of overdue bills I'd been trying to ignore until my next check. Mom's name on the screen. I figured she needed more cash for Thanksgiving dinner or some shit. I'd been their personal ATM for years now. $24,000 this year alone. I'd been keeping track in a notebook I hide under my mattress. So I hit speaker, leaning back, ready for the usual bullshit. "Jake, Thanksgiving dinner's canceled for you," Mom said, her voice all cold and nasty, like she was talking to some homeless guy who wandered into her precious Pottery Barn store. "Ashley's running it this year, and we're keeping it intimate. No space for you and your kids." The words hit me like a fucking wrecking ball. Emma dropped her scissors, her paper turkey crumpling. Tyler froze, those little eyes darting to mine, all wide and hurt. I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. "What the hell is this?" I growled, slamming my fist down so hard the table wobbled on its uneven legs. "You're kicking me and my kids out of Thanksgiving for Ashley?" For context, Ashley is my half-sister. Mom had her with Walter about a year after they got married. She's 15 years younger than me, spoiled beyond belief, and has never worked a real job in her life. She opened a luxury salon last year that caters to the country club crowd, but it's been failing because, surprise, she has no business sense and treats her employees like garbage. She's got these triplets with some corporate lawyer who's barely in the picture, except for his massive child support payments. The kids are 6, absolutely insufferable, and have names I can't even spell right. Something like Braden, Caden, and Jaden. How insufferable. Last Easter, Tyler accidentally bumped into Braden, or maybe it was Jaden, and spilled like 3 drops of apple juice on his designer polo shirt. Ashley screamed at Tyler until he cried, then sent me a $90 dry cleaning bill for a kid's shirt. I paid it because Mom gave me the silent treatment until I did. Yes, Mom replied, all smug like she was firing an incompetent maid. Ashley's triplets are highly sensitive children. Your two are too rowdy, too rough around the edges, too working class. It's smoother without you all making a scene. We'll catch up another time. Perhaps. I looked over at my kids. Emma was biting her lip, trying not to cry. Tyler was staring at his paper pilgrim hat like it had personally betrayed him. They're good kids, man. Emma gets straight A's even though she has to share textbooks at her underfunded school. Tyler helps the elderly lady next door bring in her groceries every Tuesday without being asked. They're quiet, polite, and just want to be loved by their grandma who barely acknowledges them except to criticize their clothes or haircuts. Working class? Are you fucking kidding me right now? I could feel my blood pressure skyrocketing. My kids have been talking about Thanksgiving at Grandma's for weeks. Language, Jake, Mom scolded, like I was still 12. This decision is final. Ashley's already ordered a heritage turkey from that organic farm upstate. It's very exclusive, only enough for the immediate family. The immediate family that apparently didn't include me or my kids? Got it. They could still come, I suppose, she added as an afterthought, if you left them here for the weekend. Walter and I could introduce them to some culture. The symphony has a holiday program. Leave my kids with them for a weekend? So they could spend the whole time telling Emma her clothes were cheap and Tyler was too loud? Not a chance in hell. That's not happening, I said flatly. Well then, Mom sniffed, I guess we'll see you for Christmas. Maybe, if the children can learn some manners by then. The heater made this dying wheeze and the room went quiet. My kids looked at me like I'd failed them. Again, my chest felt tight, like someone was sitting on it. Working class? I stood up so fast my chair crashed against the wall. I started stomping across our peeling linoleum floor, pacing like a caged pit bull. I've paid $24,000 this year. Vacations, groceries, Walter's Lexus payments, your fucking McMansion mortgage, Ashley's boutique salon that went belly up in 6 months, pocket money for her stuck-up triplets, every damn Cheesecake Factory dinner when you're too exhausted to cook like a normal mother, and you're ditching us for her? Let me break this down for you guys. My mom and Walter live in this 3,500 square foot house in Oakwood Hills, the fancy part of town where all the doctors and lawyers live. Walter supposedly works in finance, but as far as I can tell, he just loses money on bad investments and then comes to me to bail him out. Mom hasn't worked since she married him. She spends her days at yoga, lunch with the girls, and various charity committees where she pretends to care about the less fortunate, while literally refusing to let her grandkids use her guest bathroom because their energy is too chaotic. Their house has a pool they use maybe 3 times a year. They have a home theater that cost more than my annual salary. They take 4 vacations annually, always to places with white sand beaches or ski slopes, always at 5-star resorts. And I'm the one paying for it all, one backbreaking shift at a time. Mom did this exaggerated eye roll and huffed like I'm a toddler throwing a tantrum in Target. Don't be so dramatic, Jake. It's one meal. Ashley has had it extremely difficult lately. Her children need a calm, sophisticated environment. Yours are resilient little street urchins. They'll survive without fancy turkey for once. Street urchins! I roared, punching the counter so hard the microwave jumped and a chipped mug crashed to the floor, shattering next to Emma's school art project. I've shelled out $24,000 fucking dollars, years of it, so you and Walter can sip sparkling water in the Bahamas. Stock your Sub-Zero fridge. Make payments on your precious Lexus. While I'm eating ramen 3 nights a week to make sure my kids have decent lunches for school, my kids aren't resilient. They're children, Mom, and you're picking Ashley's pretentious little monsters over your own grandkids. Emma shrank into the couch, grabbing Tyler's arm. His lip trembled, his paper pilgrim hat crumpling in his small fist. Watch your tone, Mom snapped, her voice dripping with that country club superiority she's perfected since marrying Walter. This is family. Ashley is delicate and refined. She deserves a peaceful holiday. You're common and rough. You'll survive just fine eating frozen turkey in that hovel you call a home. Quit acting so damn entitled when we've given you so much. Given me so much? Are you kidding me? Let me tell you what they've given me. A childhood where I was expected to be the adult after dad left. A stepfather who made it clear I wasn't welcome in his new family. Years of guilt tripping every time I tried to set a boundary. The expectation that I should work myself to death to fund their lifestyle, while my own kids wear secondhand clothes and sleep on mattresses with springs poking through. When dad first left, I was 16 and mom completely fell apart. I got a job at the local grocery store stocking shelves at night, trying to keep our utilities on while she stayed in bed for weeks. When she met Walter at some singles cruise her sister paid for, she came back a different person. Suddenly, our small house wasn't good enough. My clothes weren't nice enough. My friends weren't the right sort. Walter moved us into his place within 3 months, and from day one, he treated me like an unwanted pet they'd inherited. The day I graduated high school, Walter sat me down and told me college wasn't realistic for someone like me, and that I should look into trade schools or the military. Meanwhile, when Ashley graduated, they threw her a party that cost more than I made in 6 months, and paid for her to attend an exclusive private university, where she majored in communications, and dropped out after 2 years to find herself in Europe on my dime. That word, entitled, it ignited something primal in me. 6 years of swallowed rage erupting like a fucking volcano. Entitled? I laughed. The sound like tires on gravel. I've paid for every Palm Springs spa weekend, every Whole Foods grocery delivery, Walter's Lexus, the house in Oakwood Hills, Ashley's salon failure. $24,000 this year, while she posts Instagram pity parties about her entrepreneurial struggles and begs for more cash. And I'm entitled? I looked out the window at my rain-soaked F-150, hood still propped open from my repair. The freezing drizzle outside matched the ice forming in my chest. Last month, I had to choose between getting Tyler's inhaler refilled and fixing the truck's brake lines. I chose the inhaler, obviously, and drove around for 2 weeks with brakes that screamed like a banshee every time I slowed down. That same week, Ashley posted photos of her new Louis Vuitton bag with the caption, "Self-care is important, mamas. Treat yourself." The bag cost $2,800. I know, because mom called to ask me to loan Ashley the money for it, since she's been through so much with the salon struggling. Mom went quiet, then said with that fake sweet voice she uses at her charity luncheons, "You always volunteered, Jake. Don't rewrite history now that you're bitter about your situation." Volunteered? My voice shook the cheap paper turkeys taped to our wall. I've covered every cent since Ashley tanked your investment portfolio. Luxury hotels, premium gas, her triplets North Face jackets they outgrew in weeks. $24,000 this year, Mom, while my kids wear hand-me-downs from my buddy Rick's kids. But sure, I fucking begged to empty my bank account for you people. This wasn't even the first time they'd pulled shit like this. Last year, they forgot to invite us to the family Easter gathering. The year before, Walter suggested I drop the kids off at a neighbor's so I could attend a family wedding alone because children that age are disruptive. Every time I swallowed my pride and kept paying their bills because mom would cry and say they'd lose everything without me. Remember when I mentioned how this all started? After dad left and mom married Walter, they started living way beyond their means. Then the 2008 financial crisis hit, and Walter lost his job at some investment firm. Instead of downsizing or adjusting their lifestyle, they started leaning on me. First, it was small stuff, gas money, grocery runs. Then it escalated to mortgage payments and car loans. "It's for Ashley," she said, her voice cold as a banker denying a loan. "You'll manage. Happy Thanksgiving." She hung up. "Are we too noisy, Daddy?" Emma whispered, her voice barely audible. Tyler sniffed, wiping his nose on his sleeve, eyes welling up. I dropped to my knees, pulling them close, their small bodies trembling. "No, you're perfect. They're the messed up ones. We'll have our own Thanksgiving. Way better food. Way more fun. I swear." My tone was steady for them. But inside, I was a Category 5 hurricane ready to obliterate their precious fucking world. That night, after the kids finally crashed in their shared bedroom, we can't afford a 3-bedroom, I grabbed my cracked laptop from under a pile of bills, flipping it open with a squeak. The screen had this weird purple line down the middle, but it still worked. I logged into the bank account tied to their McMansion mortgage. My name was on all the accounts ever since Walter fucked up some investment, and Mom tearfully called me the only stable man in her life. That phrase makes me want to vomit now, thinking about how they manipulated me. There it was, laid out in digital black and white. $24,000 gone this year. $8,500 on wellness vacations. 5-star resorts, first-class flights, spa treatments. $5,700 on groceries and utilities for their 3,500 square foot showcase home, $3,400 on Walter's Lexus payments. $5,200 on the mortgage, $1,200 on Ashley's failed salon, emergency renovations, plus thousands more on random Venmo requests for their essential needs, like mom's Botox, Walter's golf club membership, and Ashley's triplets private Spanish tutor. Meanwhile, I've been wearing the same 3 work shirts for 4 years. My kids share a tablet that has a cracked screen because I can't afford to replace it. Emma needed braces, but I had to put it off because the orthodontist wants a $2,000 down payment. Tyler's asthma inhaler costs $180 with my crappy insurance, and sometimes I have to choose between that and our electricity bill. My overtime, my calloused hands, my kids wearing shoes one size too small so they could live like fucking royalty. I scrolled to the mortgage, $1,750 due December 1st, autopay set from my checking account. I clicked cancel autopay, then hit the Lexus loan, $550 a month. Axed that too. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I found the utilities, all in my name because Walter's credit was shit after his second bankruptcy. Gas, electric, water. Canceled every automatic payment. Their cell phone family plan that somehow didn't include me or my kids? Terminated effective immediately. The country club membership I somehow got roped into co-signing? Canceled with a note. Member unable to meet financial obligations. Then I called my buddy Mitch, who works at the security company that monitors their fancy neighborhood. Hey man, remember when you needed that engine rebuild and I did it for cost? I need a favor. Mitch didn't even hesitate. Whatever you need, bro. You saved me $3,000 on that rebuild. My mom's security system at 47 Oakwood Drive. Can you make some adjustments? Like, maybe the gate stops working? And maybe the alarm gets reset to a code nobody knows? He laughed. Consider it done. Anything else? Flag their account for non-payment. I want a full lockout. The cherry on top? I called their internet provider and downgraded their service to the slowest possible speed, then put a parental control password on it that only I knew. No Netflix for the triplets. No Instagram for Ashley to post her fake perfect life. No online shopping for mom. The "Are you sure?" pop-ups kept appearing. I clicked through every one with growing satisfaction. They'd feel it when the heat died, the water stopped, and the Lexus got repossessed right as they were showing off to their Thanksgiving dinner guests. I leaned back, a savage grin splitting my face. Let Ashley's highly sensitive triplets enjoy a cold, dark house and watch their precious parents scramble. I slept better that night than I had in years. Thanksgiving Eve rolled in with freezing rain. Our duplex was as festive as we could make it. Paper turkeys taped to walls, some dollar store autumn garlands I found on clearance. The kids laughed as we made pumpkin pie from a mix that was 2 months past its expiration date. I put in another brutal shift at the construction site, operating an excavator through mud that froze to the treads. My supervisor Rick noticed I was in a good mood despite the weather. "What's got you so chipper?" he asked during our lunch break in the site trailer. "Just looking forward to Thanksgiving with the kids," I said, not mentioning the revenge bomb I'd set. "Not going to your mom's fancy spread this year?" "Nah, they decided we weren't good enough for their table." Rick shook his head. He knew some of my family drama. "Those pretentious assholes, after all you do for them?" "Karma's coming," I said, trying not to smile too hard. No calls yet from Mom or Walter. Just the temporary peace of knowing I'd pulled the trigger on a financial nuclear bomb that was about to detonate. I stopped at the grocery store on the way home and splurged a little. Got a decent turkey breast, some real butter for the potatoes, and even a can of that fancy cranberry sauce with whole berries instead of the jellied stuff. The cashier had to split it into 2 transactions because my debit card got declined on the first try. I was that close to empty, but it was worth it. For once, my money was going to my family. Thanksgiving morning dawned gray and cold. The kids tore into the new-to-them gifts I'd picked up. $40 worth of fines from neighborhood buy-nothing groups and Goodwill. A Barbie with mismatched clothes for Emma. A remote control car missing one wheel for Tyler, but I'd fixed it with parts from my toolbox. Their smiles lit up our dingy living room. I'd scraped together a decent meal. Turkey breast on sale, instant potatoes, 2 cans of corn, and some brown and serve rolls. Nothing Instagram-worthy, but it was made with actual love. Then, my phone started. First text at 8:47 a.m. "Mom, Jake, something wrong with the heat. Fix it now." I ignored it, basting our turkey while Tyler and Emma made pilgrim hats from construction paper. Walter's voicemail came in at 9:30. "The goddamn thermostat is showing an account disconnection. What the hell did you do? Call me immediately." I didn't. Then Ashley. "My children are cold. Whatever childish game you're playing needs to stop." My buddy Mitch texted, Dude, your mom's husband just tried to override the security system. I shut him down like we discussed. Their guests started arriving and the gate won't open. Epic meltdown happening? I grinned, pouring gravy over Emma's potatoes. Our duplex was toasty warm, while their showplace mansion turned into an exclusive icebox with a front gate that wouldn't open for their fancy friends. By noon, the texts and calls were coming in every few minutes. Walter's sister Diane. Jake, something's wrong at the house. The bathrooms are freezing and Walter is screaming at the thermostat. Mom's friend Barbara. Your mother is crying. The caterers can't get in to set up. What's going on? My Uncle Terry. Kid, whatever you did, it's working. Walter just offered me $500 to figure out the gate code. I put my phone on silent and focused on my kids. We played board games, watched the parade on our ancient TV, and ate our simple meal at the wobbly kitchen table. Emma said it was the best Thanksgiving ever because I wasn't checking my phone every 5 minutes waiting for mom to need something. She wasn't wrong. The day unfolded like a beautiful fucking revenge movie, their panicked messages flooding my phone like the tears I imagined on their faces. By 2 p.m., mom's text had evolved from demanding to hysterical. Jake, it's 52 degrees in here. The caterer can't cook. The gate won't open for the Hendersons. What have you done? Walter's voicemails got increasingly unhinged. Listen, you ungrateful piece of shit. Fix this now or I'm calling the police. Good luck with that, Walter. Nothing illegal about canceling payments I'm not obligated to make. Ashley's messages were pure poison. My triplets are freezing in their holiday outfits. Their lips are literally blue. I will never forgive this. I was sprawled on our secondhand couch playing Uno with the kids, Emma shrieking with laughter as she hit me with a draw 4, when a group text came through from Uncle Steve, who I actually like. Holy shit show at your mom's. No heat, no gate access, people having to park and walk half a mile in the rain. Walter trying to light the fireplace, but it's gas, and guess what? No gas. Your mom having a complete meltdown in front of the Wilsons. Ashley's kids screaming like banshees. What did you do? I replied with just a shrug emoji. Steve sent back 3 laughing faces. My cousin Pete, who was at the dinner, started sending me live updates. Dude, the triplets are wearing like 5 sweaters each and still complaining. Walter just tried to bribe the gas company dispatcher to come out on Thanksgiving. They hung up on him. Your mom told everyone the food would still be served. The caterer just left because the ovens don't work without electricity. Ashley is telling everyone this is classist discrimination against her salon business. No one knows what she's talking about. They're serving cold turkey sandwiches on paper plates. Your mom is crying in the pantry. I grinned so hard my face hurt as I dealt another round of Uno. Their chaos was music to my ears while we enjoyed our modest but warm Thanksgiving. The mortgage, utilities, Lexus payments, all terminated. Credit cards, maxed out and now declined. Security system, locked out. And the best part? The timing. No company would send anyone out to fix anything until at least Monday. Fucking perfect. As night fell, the temperature outside dropped to the low 20s. My phone became a battleground. 27 calls from Mom, 34 from Walter, texts exploding by the minute. Mom. Jake, it's 42 degrees in here. People are leaving. Walter. I will destroy you for this. Ashley. The triplets are developing hypothermia. This is child abuse. My cousin Rick. Bro, your mom just tried to blame the power company, and the rep put her on speaker for the whole room while explaining all services were deliberately terminated. Epic. Ashley's husband Grant, who rarely communicates with anyone in the family, even texted me. Whatever they did to deserve this, I support it 100%. Taking the kids to a hotel. This is hilarious. I was in our tiny kitchen making turkey sandwiches with the leftovers. The smell of fresh coffee filling the air. Picturing their nightmare. Mom's perfect table setting useless in the dark. Walter frantically calling his country club buddies for emergency loans. Ashley wrapping her triplets in the cashmere throws I'd paid for last Christmas. All of them huddled together in their designer clothes, watching their Thanksgiving implode spectacularly. My phone pinged with a video from Uncle Steve. It showed Walter trying to light candles with shaking hands while Mom sobbed dramatically on their custom Italian leather sofa. Look what your ungrateful son has done to us, she wailed. After all we've given him. Steve's text. They still don't get it. Unreal. By the end of the night, I had 47 messages, 72 missed calls, and 3 voicemails where my mom was just unintelligibly sobbing. But I also had 2 happy, well-fed kids who fell asleep feeling like they mattered to someone. I'd call that a win. 3 days after Thanksgiving, I was replacing a broken cabinet hinge in the kitchen, kids at school, when someone started pounding on my door like they were trying to break it down. I grabbed a wrench, just in case, and looked through the peephole. Walter. Red-faced, designer overcoat wrinkled, looking like he hadn't slept in days. I opened the door just enough to block entry. Well, well, slumming it in my neighborhood? You son of a bitch, he hissed, his perfect veneers clenched tight. You've ruined us. Lexus repossessed in front of everyone. Mortgage company calling. Credit cards declined at Nordstrom. Security system locked us out of our own goddamn house. Ashley's triplets had to go to urgent care for cold exposure. I leaned against the doorframe, twirling the wrench. Sounds rough, almost as rough as telling your grandkids they're too working class for Thanksgiving dinner. Look, his voice dropped, eyes darting around like he was afraid someone might see him begging. We need $6,700 immediately, or they're starting foreclosure proceedings. Just transfer the money. We'll figure out the rest. I laughed right in his face. You know what's funny? You people have been bleeding me dry for years, and you still have the balls to show up asking for more. This isn't a game, he shouted, spittle flying. Your mother is having anxiety attacks. The neighbors are talking. Ashley's salon clients are canceling. Tell me something, Walter. Does Mom know about your little arrangement with Tiffany, the waitress at the country club? The one I've seen you with 3 times when you told Mom you were golfing? The one who's half your age? Because I took pictures. Great quality. Really clear. His face went from red to ghost white in seconds. You... what? Also, does Mom know about the online gambling? The accounts under fake names? I have access to all the accounts, remember? I've been tracking that for months. This wasn't a bluff. I'd seen the transactions. Thousands of dollars flowing to offshore gambling sites. I'd seen him with the blonde waitress at the roadside motel when I was delivering construction materials to a site nearby. I'd been collecting evidence for months, never knowing when I might need it. He stepped back like I'd punched him. Jake, please. Get off my property before I show the neighborhood what a real working-class ass-kicking looks like. He scrambled back to his Uber, not even his own car anymore, nearly slipping on the wet pavement. That night, my phone erupted. Mom called sobbing, leaving a voicemail that was just unintelligible wailing. Ashley texted that her triplets were traumatized and would need therapy. My Uncle Jim called to say Walter had tried to borrow money from everyone in the family. Then came the crown jewel. A text from my cousin Rick with a video attachment. Dude, you won't believe this. They're begging. The video showed Mom and Walter standing in the lobby of my credit union, Mom literally on her knees crying, begging the manager to extend emergency credit. Walter frantically explaining that there must be a mistake with their accounts. I watched it while drinking a soda on my couch, the satisfaction warming me better than any heater could. The next week, I got a handwritten letter from Mom. Tear-stained, barely legible. Jake, we're about to lose everything. The bank is foreclosing. Walter's car is gone. Ashley's children are staying with their father. Please help us. We're sleeping in a freezing house. We've lost our standing in the community. I know we've made mistakes. I beg you, son, have mercy. I folded the letter and put it in my toolbox as a reminder. 2 days later, I was cooking dinner when there was a soft knock at the door. Mom stood there, looking 20 years older, wearing clothes I'd never seen, clearly secondhand. Her perfect highlights grown out, her manicure chipped. Jake, she whispered, I've lost everything. Walter's leaving me for someone named Tiffany. Ashley won't speak to me. The house is in foreclosure. I have nowhere to go. I looked at her for a long moment. Remember when you called my kids street urchins? Remember when you said I was common and rough? Remember when you threw us away for Thanksgiving while spending the money I earned? Tears streamed down her face, cutting through her makeup. I was wrong. So wrong. Please, Jake. I'm your mother. You should have thought about that before you decided Ashley's triplets were more important than your grandchildren. Jake, please, she sobbed, reaching for me. You know what really gets me? I said quietly. It's not the money. It's that you made Emma and Tyler feel like they weren't good enough. Made them feel less than. No one does that to my kids. I'll make it right, she pleaded. I'll be a better grandmother, I swear. I shut the door in her face. That night, my buddy Derek texted me a video of Mom begging outside the country club, trying to get in for some charity event she used to chair. Security turning her away. Ashley posting on social media that her toxic family had destroyed her children's mental health. Walter spotted moving his stuff into some apartment above a laundromat. I smiled and deleted their contact info from my phone. Took my kids to a movie with money I didn't have to give to those leeches. When Emma asked if Grandma would ever visit again, I told her, some people only love you when you're useful to them, sweetheart. We don't need those people. The best revenge wasn't just cutting them off financially. It was watching them realize that money was the only thing holding their fake lives together. And now they had nothing. No money, no status, no family. Meanwhile, my kids and I had everything that mattered. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up overnight. Thanks for all the support and awards. To answer some common questions. 1. Yes, I have full custody of my kids. X signed away her rights when she moved to Arizona. 2. No, I won't be helping my mom get back on her feet. That ship has sailed. 3. Several people asked if I feel bad about the triplets. I don't. Their dad has money and took them to a hotel immediately. They're fine. 4. For people saying I should have done this years ago. You're right, but family guilt is a powerful thing, especially when it's your mom. 5. Yes, I checked with a lawyer. Since all the accounts were in my name and I was making voluntary payments, I was within my rights to stop them at any time. Update. Just found out Walter's luxury watch collection is being auctioned off next weekend. Thinking of taking the kids. Could be educational.